Another episode of Salty's Egg Balls. Today I'll be discussing about the XFL. The XFL, it's been a very interesting week in the past week. A few surprises, a few shocks, and we've got a lot of good games coming up. Week 4 coming up. So let's start off with Saturday's game. The first game to kick off was Houston against Tampa Bay. Really interesting game. Tampa Bay playing their first home game of the season at the Raymond James Stadium. They proved to play very, very well, but Houston were just too strong. Philip Walker and his chemistry he's got with his offensive group he's got, especially with wide receiver Cam Phillips. These two have been probably two of the best players in the XFL so far. Tampa Bay, I mean, they look all right at home. They look like they're more suited to play at home than they are on the road. And they proved to have a very, very effective first half of the game. But looks like Mark Trestman doesn't know still who's the starting quarterback is. He starts up with one play, he'll have Cornelius. The next one, he'll have Flowers as quarterback. And the other play, he'll have Cornelius and then Flowers and vice versa. Mark Trestman is still having troubles finding out who his quarterback is. And I have a feeling that both quarterbacks are having struggles with specific plays, depending what kind of play Mark Trestman wants to call. Hence, he's always swapping quarterbacks. So I'll be interested to see who will start at week 4. But Houston managed to win that game 34-27. A very good victory on the road, and Houston's still undefeated, going 3-0 in the season. The Saturday evening game, which was between Dallas and Seattle. Dallas on the road again and making the trip to CenturyLink Field. Dallas winning that game 21-12. Again, it was a very tight first half. Both teams canceled each other out, but Dallas managed to get the victory at the end. The running game proved very, very effective, and winning on the road against the Dragons. Sunday's afternoon game was between St. Louis, New York traveling to St. Louis. This was a total blowout, 29-9 to St. Louis. St. Louis playing their first home game of the season. Jordan Tamu had a smashing game. The Battlehawks defense was on point. New York have done absolutely nothing offensively in that game. They were really, really poor. Explains why McGloin got benched. Gilbride benched him in the first half and decided to use the second and third string quarterbacks. And to be fair, they actually looked a lot more better than they did starting McGloin. McGloin has just not settled into that team whatsoever, in my opinion. And I think, I think Gilbride's going to have a big decision to make who's going to be starting week 4 as a starting QB. I think McGloin has just been poor. I mean, he is just in general has just not fit into that system. He's very uncomfortable in the pocket. His passing is just not effective enough. Really, really poor play from him. So a big decision to be made from New York coming into week 4. I think, however, St. Louis have been playing very, very well. They look like a really good all-round team, and they're starting to blossom a little bit. And again, the game that they were playing at home in St. Louis proved to be a near sellout. A lot of people turned up to that game. Obviously, as you know, St. Louis don't have the Rams anymore, so there's no professional football team in that city. So a lot of the city were cheering on the Battlehawks. So 29-9 victory in that game. The Sunday evening game was between LA and Washington. In my opinion, this was a bit of a shock. LA winning that game 39-9, a blowout. LA were just absolutely playing lights out defense in that first half. In the first half, they managed 2 turnovers and 1 block punt, playing really, really well. The running game, LA proved very, very effective. Washington were just poor. It looks like they just struggled to get any game going in both sides of the ball. Cardell Jones was a bit surprised. I thought he'll have like a pretty good game in this one, but he didn't do much. And this has been a surprise victory for him because I thought that Washington will win that game. But they've lost their first home game. They lost their first game of the season. to LA. LA managing to get their win at home. So a very, very impressive victory there for LA. So going into week 4 games, so the first game, which is going to kick off on Saturday afternoon, is between LA and New York. So LA travel to the MetLife Stadium. This is going to be a really interesting game. I think after last week's performance, I thought New York were just terrible. I think their quarterback positions and pretty much of a jeopardy at the moment. Like I said, who do they start in their quarterback? If they start their second string quarterback, they might have a chance to do good, but I just can't see them do anything against LA. To me, LA had a really, really good game against Washington, so I'm going to go for a Wildcats victory here. I'm predicting maybe 31-24 on the road win for LA, putting more misery in New York. Saturday evening games between Seattle Dragons and St. Louis Battlehawks. This is going to be very interesting because I know even though Seattle have lost their game last week, I think Seattle's defense is actually pretty decent. They have a few good players in their defense that can cause their wide receivers a bit of a problem. But I think with St. Louis playing at home and stuff, I think St. Louis will get the win at home. I think as an all-round team, St. Louis are probably a better team than Seattle. So I'm going to be going for a 34-14 win to the Battlehawks. On to Sunday's game. The first one is between Houston and Dallas, the All Texas Derby. Houston are going to be on the road traveling to Dallas. This is going to be a really, really good game. Now, this is going to be very difficult for Houston. I think Dallas will be geared up for this. I think Dallas coming off of 2 victories. I think they'll be geared up and they want to prove a point that they're the #1 team in Texas in the XFL. And I think this is going to be very, very tight. This is going to be a tight game, but I think I'm going to go for a 28-24 win to Houston. I think Houston with Cardale Jones and Cam Phillips as wide receiver, I think that chemistry they've got is the best chemistry in the XFL offensively, and I think they work very, very well together. So yeah, 28-24 to Houston. The final game on the Sunday night football game is between DC and Tampa. So DC travel all the way to Raymond James Stadium. Shocking performance from DC. I know both teams coming off with a loss, but you look at the all-round team of DC, and you probably say they're a bit of a better side than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay are still figuring out who the quarterback is. So I think DC will get this win, I think, in Tampa Bay. Not easily, though. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park. I still think Tampa Bay will cause them a lot of problems. But I think they might just manage to sneak it just a little bit. And that's because of they don't have a stable quarterback at the Vipers. So I'm going to go for a 22-17 win for DC on the road in Tampa. So that's my week 4 coverage for XFL. These are my predictions. I think it's been a very, very interesting tournament so far in the XFL. It's gone beyond my expectations. It's been entertaining and it's been good to watch as a whole. Make sure you do watch it. You might see a few players might end up in the NFL next year, so it's good to keep a little eye out on some of the games. So thanks for again watching, guys, and just before I do log out of this video, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's been viewing my videos and liking my videos. It's very flattering for me, and I appreciate you guys. I'm still getting used to this whole vlogging business, and I will make more vlogs more often when I've got time. But again, thanks again for watching, guys. Much appreciated. Comment, like, subscribe on my videos, and I shall see you on the next one. Have a good one.